I am not the woman people think I am. When I walk through the market in Kalimba village, carrying my baskets with steady hands and a calm face, people whisper behind my back. Some shake their heads in pity, others pretend not to see me at all. They think they know my story. They think I am the woman whose husband was stolen, the one who was disgraced, the one who lost everything in a single moment. But they are wrong. They only saw the beginning of my pain. They did not stay long enough to witness my freedom. There was a time when my life looked perfect, the kind of life people admire from a distance. My husband, Tando, was a strong hunter. His name carried respect across villages. Whenever he returned from the forest with fresh meat, people gathered around him, praising his strength and skill. I stood beside him, proud and smiling, as a good wife should. I was known for my kindness. My home was always open. If someone was hungry, I fed them. If someone needed a place to rest, I gave them space. Laughter often filled my compound, and the fire in my kitchen never seemed to go out. And then there was Zuri. Zuri was more than a friend. She was like a sister to me, or at least, that is what I believe. She came into my life during a difficult season, when her own family had turned their backs on her. I welcomed her without question. I shared my food, my space, my time. We talked late into the night, sharing stories, dreams, and secrets. She knew things about me that no one else knew. I trusted her completely. That was my first mistake. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Life continued as it always had. But slowly, like a shadow creeping at sunset, small changes began to appear. I noticed how Zuri laughed at Tando's words, even when they were not funny. I noticed how Tando began to spend more time at home when he knew she would be there. Their conversations grew longer, their smiles deeper. I told myself it was nothing. After all, she was my friend. He was my husband. What reason did I have to doubt them? But the heart knows what the eyes try to ignore. There were nights when Tando returned late from the forest without any meat, offering weak excuses. There were moments when Zuri avoided my eyes, as if she was hiding something too heavy to carry. Still, I kept quiet. I held on to trust, even when it began to feel like holding water in my hands. Then one night, everything changed. The moon was high, and the village was quiet. I had gone to fetch something I had forgotten in the back of the house. That was when I heard voices, soft at first, then clearer as I moved closer. Their voices. I stopped. My heart began to beat so loudly I thought it would betray my presence. And then I saw them. There was no confusion, no misunderstanding. They stood close to each other, closer than any friend should stand. Their faces were near, their voices soft in a way that did not belong to friendship. In that moment, time did not just slow down. It broke. I felt something inside me collapse. Not just my trust, not just my love, but something deeper. Something I had built my life upon. I did not scream. I did not cry. I simply stood there, watching the truth reveal itself without shame. When they finally noticed me, there was no panic in their eyes, no fear. That hurt more than anything else. Zuri straightened herself and looked at me, not with guilt, but with a strange kind of confidence. "I love him," she said, her voice steady. "He has chosen me." I turned to Tando, waiting for him to deny it, to say something, anything, that would show he still remembered who I was to him. But he said nothing. His silence spoke louder than any words ever could. The next morning, they left together. Just like that. No apology, no explanation, no respect. They walked out of my life as if I had never been part of it. The village woke up to the story quickly. By midday, everyone knew. Some people came to comfort me, but their words felt empty. Others simply watched, their eyes filled with curiosity instead of compassion. I stayed inside my house. Days passed, but I did not notice them. I sat in silence, surrounded by memories that now felt like lies. Every corner of my home reminded me of what I had lost, or at least, what I thought I had lost. Pain became my companion. It followed me everywhere, whispering reminders of betrayal. Anger grew inside me, strong and dangerous. I imagined confronting them, exposing them, making them feel the same hurt they had caused me. But even in my anger, I felt weak. One evening, as the sun began to set, an old woman named Mama Kena came to my door. She was known in the village for her wisdom. People said she could see truths others could not. She sat beside me without saying anything at first. We remained in silence for a long time, until she finally spoke. "A thief can only take what is already lost," she said quietly. I frowned, confused by her words. How could she say that? Had I not lost everything? She looked at me with calm eyes. "You think they took your happiness," she continued. "But tell me, was your heart truly at peace before they left?" I wanted to argue, but the words did not come, because deep inside, I knew the answer. Tando had changed long before that night. He had become distant, careless, more interested in his pride than in our home. I had carried the weight of our marriage alone, making excuses for his behavior, hoping things would return to how they once were. I had been holding on to something that was already broken. Mama Kena's words stayed with me long after she left. Slowly, I began to see things differently. What if I had not lost everything? What if I had been released? The next morning, I stood up. It was not easy. My body felt heavy, my heart still bruised. But I moved anyway. I cleaned my house. I opened the windows and let fresh air in. I stepped outside and walked to the market, ignoring the whispers that followed me. I started small, selling palm oil, then woven baskets. Day by day, I worked, rebuilding not just my income, but my sense of self. Something began to change inside me. The pain did not disappear, but it lost its power over me. The anger faded, replaced by a quiet strength. For the first time in a long time, I began to feel something unexpected. Peace. Months passed, and my life grew fuller. Not with a husband, but with purpose. Not with false love, but with real strength. Then one day, news spread through the village. Zuri and Tando were no longer happy. Their home was filled with arguments. The laughter that once connected them had turned into sharp words and cold silence. Tando had stopped hunting regularly. Zuri complained about his laziness. The same man she once admired had become a burden she could not carry. People talked about it openly. I listened quietly. One afternoon, I saw Zuri by the river. She looked tired, her face no longer glowing with pride. Her eyes met mine, but she quickly looked away. In that moment, I understood everything. She had not taken my happiness. She had taken my problem. I did not feel anger. I did not feel joy at her suffering. I felt nothing but clarity. That night, as I sat under the moon, I thought about everything that had happened. The love, the betrayal, the pain, and the journey that followed. And I smiled, because I finally understood the truth. "You didn't snatch my husband," I whispered to the night. "You only snatched my burden." And for the first time, those words felt light. Not bitter, not painful, just true. Sometimes, what leaves your life is not a loss. Sometimes, it is freedom disguised as pain. And sometimes, the people who think they have won have only taken the weight you were never meant to carry.